Milwaukee at Jonathan Romeo. Jonathan, just tell us a little bit about what you do and tell us about your involvement in the upcoming PGA Tour event, the Barbosol Championship.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me come on. I tell you, it's been a crazy couple of months acquiring the PGA Tour event, getting the PGA Tour with a schedule that is full, with 44 events throughout the year. It's a great victory, I think, already out of the gate to get one and to have one in the state of Alabama. It's the first ever PGA Tour event that we've hosted. Of course, we've hosted, the PGA Tour, or the PGA Championship has been in Birmingham before up at Shoal Creek, but that's not what we call an annual PGA Tour stop. So it's a great thing to have in the state. It's a great thing for the Auburn-Opelika area. An economic impact that'll be more than about $25 million for the week. You can't ask for much more. So what we are doing is we will be organizing, obviously, and running the event next year, starting in July. It's a 4-year contract, bringing in a little small shave company called Barbosol, which most of you have probably heard of, is the title sponsor. And, we're just looking really forward to having it at Grand National and hosting it in the area.
Yeah, I use Barbosol every week. Right? I would imagine most everybody else does as well.
Unfortunately, that's one of the things we have to do.
Right. Jonathan, what is your title exactly?
I'm the tournament director, so I run events on the trail. We do. I work actually for the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. We have 2 LPGA events right now. One is in Mobile, the Airbus LPGA Classic, and then here in the next month we have the Yokohama LPGA Classic, which is hosted at our site in Prattville at Capitol Hill. And then adding this one on, obviously, will be our 3rd professional event that we'll host annually.
So how did this come about? You said it. I mean, obviously, it is years of work here. What all goes into trying to bring these tournaments to a place like Auburn-Opelika?
That's a great question. Obviously, the trail, which was the vision of the retirement systems of Alabama and Dr. David Bronner, was to bring in a couple of goals for what the trail does. Number one is to showcase Alabama as a destination. And we do that, obviously, by having people from all over the country and all over the world come and play our golf courses. Tourism is up over 200% since the trail was started just 22 years ago. So you have your golf courses and you have the facilities that we have built. Then you've got to start trying to build a pedigree. Well, you build a pedigree by hosting, as you remember back in '97, Grand National hosted the Nike Tour Championship. Then we came in and brought an LPGA event into the Auburn-Opelika area back in the Aflac Tournament of Champions. Then you've had the NCAA Championship. So you've built kind of a history behind what the golf course has to offer, what the local area has to offer, what the demographics of the area are, where the geographical location of where you're located. Then you start going and trying to recruit, obviously, bigger events. And the PGA Tour, it doesn't get much bigger than the PGA Tour, obviously. Getting that event takes time and it's a matter of having an opening in the schedule. And once the opening happens, being able to put all the parts together, which are a golf course facility, city involvement, state involvement, and then ultimately having the title sponsor. And like I said, this is something we've been working on for a while. They don't just happen overnight, and it's a great story. It's going to be a great success, and it's something that I hope everyone from the state of Alabama will be proud of.
Well, particularly, this is going to take place there at Grand National in Auburn-Opelika. I believe it's the Lakes Course. When you bring a tournament in, obviously these tournaments, the Robert Trent Jones Trail, are just elite quality golf courses. But when you bring a PGA Tour event in like this, what all has to take place? Do you have to do anything to the course, or as far as logistics are concerned, with the amount of people that are going to be there? How does this all play out?
Well, and that's another great question. That's obviously, we've got a little less than a year to plan it. We've been doing this for a long time, so there's a pretty good model of what we do. It involves just north of 900 volunteers is how many volunteers it takes us to run a PGA Tour event. It takes the cooperation, obviously, from the golf course. The golf course, the lucky thing and the interesting thing about the trail and about having a PGA Tour event is most tour events, most PGA Tour events are held at country clubs and private facilities. Something that makes this special and more special, obviously, for us here in Alabama is this is a golf course that you can load up your bag and go play that golf course 51 weeks out of the year. The 1 week out of the year that the PGA Tour is there, you're not going to be able to play it, but you can play the same golf course that these guys are going to play, year round, and you've got it right there in your backyard. On top of, obviously, the agronomy side of things, Scott Gomberg, the director of golf down there, and Jeff Ullman, who is a superintendent, the golf course is always in great shape. Will we have to heighten it up, and will we do a couple of things special this year? Absolutely. We'll have a little bit faster greens. You're going to see probably a little bit tighter fairways, maybe a little bit more rough. But other than that, it's still going to be the same lake golf course that you guys play or can go play on a daily basis. The other things that go into it are, and you don't realize, when you're broadcasting live in high definition worldwide on the Golf Channel, there's a lot that goes into the television production. There's a lot that goes into the actual setting up of that, okay? On top of that, you've got 132 players, 132 caddies, and everything else that comes with that. You're looking at a huge operation that goes into player hospitality. You're looking at a huge operation that goes into player housing. I mean, they all stay for a week, so they're there the entire time. They become residents, of the Auburn Opelika area. Then on top of that, you've got the sponsors. You're looking at having, sponsors from not only the local area. You're going to see regional sponsors. You're going to see probably a good bit of sponsorship come out of Atlanta. It's all a huge moving piece that comes together for a week, and then it goes away. It's kind of neat. We'll build your typical skyboxes, your chalets, all of those things that'll be built that you see on TV on a weekly basis. That all will happen at Grand National.
Wow. We've got Jonathan Romeo here with us, tournament director with the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail. This is scheduled to be this is a 4-year contract, a 4-year deal here. Now this is taking place the same weekend as the British Open. Does this is something that we're planning on continuing later on? Hopefully, making this tournament maybe sometime a little more convenient, where we see maybe even bigger stars coming into the area.
That's a great point. An opposite event is just what we call them. You still look at last year or this year, who played in the event opposite the British Open or who were there. You've got players like Jeff Ogilvy, Davis Love, David Duvall, John Daly, Lee Jansen, David Toms. You've got a lot of big names. The Open Championship takes the top 50 in world rankings. Well, there's a lot of good players, a lot of big names. You had this year, I think it was 14 major champions that did not play in the British Open. The FedEx Cup, which has changed their timing as far as when the FedEx Cup ends, it puts us in a primo location. If you are not in the schedule, if you're not playing at the Open Championship over the pond, you're going to want to get as many FedEx Cup points as you can towards the end of the year. And that's where we are, because the FedEx Cup, as you know, ends in September. So we're at a point to where you're going to have everybody who's not over the pond will come play. So you're really looking at a great, field of big names that are going to be playing. They're going to be playing for $3.5 million as the purse. That's the largest purse ever in the state of Alabama. That's bigger than either one of the PGA championships. It's bigger than the Champions Tour event, and it's bigger than the LPGA event. So you're still looking at a very, very large event. Ideally, further down the road, it's kind of like a baby. You got to crawl, and then you get to learn to walk. Well, as we're with the PGA Tour, again, they've got a full schedule. So as things change throughout, in years further down the road, could this event move to a different date? Absolutely, there's the chance of that. But we like where we are. We like where it is from an agronomy standpoint. The golf course will be great. It fits well with the Auburn Opelika area. Being during the summer is not a bad thing. I mean, it's warm, yes. Golf course is good. It also allows us to have, not compete with football, not have to compete with basketball. It's the sporting event that'll be here for that week.
I know everyone is really looking forward to this. We'll take this tournament, the Barbosol Championship at Grand National, will take place July 13th of next year. And I just I know I've talked to so many people since this was announced, and everybody is really, really so excited about it. I know you guys are just absolutely thrilled.
You know, it is. It's surprising. It's actually not surprising. I'm an Auburn graduate, but I know what goes on down there. I love it down there. It's very nice to see, you know, the reaction that we've gotten from the community, the reaction that we've gotten actually from the state, all around the state. I mean, the PGA Tour is the PGA Tour, and there's nothing bigger or better than they are from the golf standpoint. And, you know, having major NCAA football, which we have a lot of that around here, bringing the major golf in my opinion, it's a great fit. I mean, it really is. It fits well with what our business plan is. It fits very well with what I think will help showcase the state of Alabama. I mean, anytime that you're broadcasting to 92 million households in the United States and over 1 billion households in 225 countries, that's a paid advertisement for this state, for Grand National, for the Lake Golf Course. You can't beat that. I mean, it's great exposure. And I think, you know, ultimately the winner is the state and the winner is the people who live here in Alabama, because the more people that come to visit the trail, the more people who see this golf tournament on the television, the better we are, the better off it is.
Jonathan Romeo, the tournament director with the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, we can't thank you enough for being here with us on Sports Call this afternoon.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. And again, we look forward to seeing everybody next summer.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.